Hello, welcome to this week's Caregiver Question of the Week. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most common questions that comes up when people are asking about Parkinson's disease, and that actually has to do with bowels and bowel movements. So buckle up, Buttercup. We're talking about poop. Before we get started on the answer to today's Caregiver Question of the Week, though, some announcements for some events and resources that are coming up or that are available to folks now. First of all, Shay Domain and I had a really great event earlier in this week talking about how to discuss falls and fall prevention and fall intervention with healthcare providers in order to effectively advocate for early intervention for someone or perhaps even for yourself. So if you are if that would be information that would be beneficial to you, then I will provide a link to request the recording of that event. Full disclosure, I'm gonna be putting a lot of resources, posting a lot of resources with this Caregiver Question of the Week. So just fair warning, I'm sorry, there will be a lot of links. I will try to label them as clearly as possible so people can find their way to what they want. But it's just one of those weeks. There's going to be there's a lot going on. I've got a lot of resources to share with you guys. So that is one of them. Second thing to know about is that Shay and I will be getting together again on June 8th to do another live discussion. And this time we're going to be talking about what are the most evidence-based effective interventions for fall prevention. You can join us for that live, or you can request a recording for that as well. So again, I will drop that link into the comment section. I will try to label things as clearly as possible. Third announcement, also on June 8th. June 8th is going to be a very busy day. Very busy day for me. I am super excited. We're going to do a very special live Caregiver Question of the Week at 8 p.m. with Dr. Brittany Lamb. And she's going to be talking about advanced directives and answering some of the most common questions that people have and concerns that people have about advanced directives. So please make sure to mark your calendar for that Caregiver Question of the Week. I'll be posting an event for that. Dr. Lamb has an event posted for it on her Facebook group, which is medical decision making for caregivers of people with dementia. I'm sure I butchered that. I'm sorry, Brittany. But I will post a link to that as well. So you can request to join to watch live there, or of course, you can watch live streaming on whatever other platform you usually watch Caregiver Question of the Week. If it's not streaming there live for some reason, because we are going to be on multiple platforms at once. So if for some reason it doesn't stream live to that platform, I will make sure to post the recording of it later. Okay, that's the third announcement. And last but not least, I'm going to post some specific resources that go and information to go along with the Caregiver Question of the Week this week, which as I should probably remind you at this point, because it's been so long since I said the topic at the beginning of Caregiver Question of the Week, is about bowel movements and Parkinson's disease. So I have some pretty in-depth content about those issues. I'm going to be posting links to those resources as well. So like I said, lots of links. Sorry for so much, but there's just a lot going on, and I will make sure to label that as clearly as possible so people can get to the place that they need to go. Okay, so let's answer this Caregiver Question of the Week, though. So these caregiver questions come in from both angles. Is it normal for people with Parkinson's to have constipation? And two, is it normal for people with Parkinson's disease to have diarrhea? And I'm going to answer this in a couple of different ways. The first is to say that we should never think of either constipation or diarrhea as normal. These are things that need to be addressed because either one of them can turn into a serious complication for the person that has them. So we should never really think about either constipation or diarrhea as normal, no matter who they're occurring to. There's something that we need to take steps to make better. The second layer to this, though, really speaking about Parkinson's disease specifically, is something that is often maybe not well known about Parkinson's disease is that it does affect our autonomic nervous system. And so what that means is it can affect the areas, different areas of our body that we don't necessarily consciously control. And one of those areas that it can affect is our bowel function. By far the most common most common symptom that comes about because of changes in bowel function related to Parkinson's disease is usually constipation. And it's constipation because, so I got a little message there I had to deal with. It's usually constipation because the same way that the rest of movement can slow down with Parkinson's disease, the bowels actually have their own movements that they make. I mean, I guess that not just talking about a bowel movement, like the act of actually pooping, but there's a movement in your intestines. It's called peristalsis. And that's kind of a natural movement that the intestines make to move food waste along through your system. And that can be slowed down with Parkinson's disease. And so when that's slowed down, generally that leads to things more like constipation versus diarrhea. Of course, it can also be harder to drink enough fluids, which can lead to constipation. And often people with Parkinson's disease aren't moving around as much. And part of how our bowels work are kind of as a function of us being up and moving and kind of helping things to move along. So those are kind of the three basic reasons why usually constipation is the more common symptom to go along with Parkinson's disease. Of course, anytime there's a change to bowel function, we can see that present itself in lots of different ways, including diarrhea. And of course, it's important to understand that there could be many different medications involved, etc. I don't want to go too far down that path because honestly, medications they're not my area of expertise. Shay or Brittany, if you wanted, Dr. Lamb, if you wanted to chime in on this, you please feel free if you want to leave something in the comments about it, if you happen to see it and you want to chime in about that. But anyway, yeah. So yes, it can affect bowel function. That's the high level answer to the question. Second level of the question is it usually causes constipation, but not necessarily always. And really the third level kind of goes back to that big overview that I gave to begin with, which is that we should never think about constipation or diarrhea as being normal, no matter who someone is. So we want to take steps to intervene and deal with that situation so that someone doesn't have a serious crisis or health issue related to either constipation or diarrhea. Okay, like I said, I'm going to drop some additional resources along with this Caregiver Question of the Week post. So make sure that you check those out. I will label them as best as I can, hopefully help you find what you need to find amongst those resources. Meanwhile, if you have a caregiver question that you would like answered, please feel free to submit it. You can either leave your question in the comments and you can simply tag me. Please do tag me so that I make sure and get a notification and I will see your question. You can also submit a question privately so that you don't have to put all your business out there for the whole world to see. And I will do my best to answer the questions that come up and that come my way. And if it's a question that I cannot answer, then I'll do my best to bring another expert in to talk about what your caregiver question was. So anyway, that's it for me for today's Caregiver Question of the Week. I hope that everyone has a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I hope it is healthy and happy. I hope that you are healthy and happy. And please, most of all, most importantly, stay safe and take care. Bye, y'all.